It's been a while since I've actually unlocked DM Ultra within Cold War, and I wanted to look back at a retrospective of Cold War and revisit if it's still worth it grinding out all the camos, and if it's worth getting DM Ultra not only for Cold War but for Warzone as well. And I want to just talk about DM Ultra in general and how my thoughts have developed over this camo the past couple months since I've unlocked it. If you guys are still on the DM Ultra grind or even the Dark Aether camo grind, I will have a playlist linked in the description for you guys specifically, so you guys can go down there, and if you're struggling, you can go to any one of my in-depth guides where you guys can just get the help you need to unlock these camos as fast as possible. Going back to the original video I made a month or so ago, is DM Ultra worth it? I would still say yes. If you are a person who likes the way that DM Ultra looks and likes the colored palette change from the blues, the teals, the silvers, the pinks, and the purples, you're definitely going to enjoy this camo. Of course, if you have a higher spec PC, the better the specs PC it is, the more the camo is going to shine and look really good in game. It is my favorite mastery camo that's ever been in a Call of Duty game ever. I think a lot of you guys have seen my ranking every mastery camo ever video, and DM Ultra is my favorite by far. There's just something about the metallic shine and the color change to it. It doesn't look super good in Warzone, but in Warzone I still think it's the best looking camo in the game over Damascus, and that could ruffle a couple feathers and it might be a tough pill to swallow that I have different opinions than you, but I think overall DM Ultra is definitely worth it. It's a fun grind, so if you're a completionist, the grind is challenging but fun. The only really difficult part of the challenge that's going to frustrate you is specials, launchers, and then maybe melees or bloodthirsties with the snipers. But if you're a good skilled Call of Duty player and you want something fun to do, it's so much fun to get DM Ultra. It doesn't take long. It takes 4 days of in-game playtime if you're a above average player, and if you're a below average player, it might take you up to 5, 6, maybe 7 days of in-game playtime. But depending on how often you are on Cold War, that's only a month or so of actual playing the game. So you can unlock DM Ultra really fast. The challenges aren't too difficult. They're pretty straightforward. It's not super tedious, and you get a great mastery camo at the end of it. So I definitely still to this day think DM Ultra is definitely worth it. Most of you watching this channel know that I've been grinding this camo since the day it came out, and I unlocked it not too long after. I did both Dark Aether and Dark Matter before Christmas, so before all the Christmas news were introduced into the game, I already had both mastery camos. And from my experience grinding this camo, assault rifles, SMGs, LMGs, tac rifles, pistols, and shotguns are going to be the breeze, and you aren't going to struggle whatsoever. The only thing any of you might struggle with if you're not as skilled of Call of Duty players is bloodthirsties. Some people find it hard to get 5 kills in a single life, but all the other challenges will come naturally and are really straightforward to complete. The only areas people are going to struggle in is the specials, especially if you're doing the M79, and a lot of people aren't good with the really slow projectiles like the crossbow and the ballistic knife, so even they might struggle with some of those weapons in game rather than just hammering them out like I did, because I think the better of a Call of Duty player you are, the easier camos are to get. That's just natural common sense. But when you look at the specials in the game, there are tons of good Call of Duty players who are great with an assault rifle and SMG and can drop attack nuke with those. If you give them those weapons and they've never used them in previous Call of Duties before, like the ballistic knife and crossbow, they might struggle over the M79. So it really depends on what that player wants to do. And of course, if you have used ballistic knives and crossbows since Black Ops 1, these are a breeze, but I can totally understand why people would struggle with them. Of course, people are going to struggle with the melee challenges because it requires you to get up close. However, take advantage of Combined Arms Assault. In my guides for the melee weapons, I'll tell you over and over again, Combined Arms Assault is the craziest game mode to do melee challenges on, especially on maps like Cartel and Armada, because there's just so many people running around in such small areas that it's so easy to just sneak up behind enemies and do all the melee challenges. And then there's the launchers. The launchers have been buffed and the flak jacket has been nerfed, so if you're doing hardcore double kills or any of those really tedious kind of challenging launcher camos, you can do them with a little bit of ease within hardcore, and it just makes the gun overall really easy to complete, whether you're doing the Sigma or the RPG. I mean, it's only 2 launchers compared to Modern Warfare 2019. We had, what, 4 launchers there, and 2 of them were locked on and 2 of them were projectiles, and in Cold War, we only got 1 lock on 1 projectile, so we have half of what we needed to do within Modern Warfare. Everything else DM Ultra wise is pretty straightforward to do. I mean, for my personal experience with the grind, it was pretty easy and straightforward. I had a lot of fun with it, and as a completionist in these types of games, it was pretty easy. And on a difficulty rating out of 10, I'd probably give it like maybe a 5 out of 10. It's not too tedious. There are some challenges that challenge your skill in game, but yeah, so 5 out of 10 there. And after the camo grind, well, you have DM Ultra now. So what do you expect after the grind when you're done everything camo wise? Well, of course you could always do DLC weapons and get them, but once again, you'll eventually complete every DLC weapon in the game and have every weapon DM Ultra. And at this point, you can literally just enjoy the game and have fun. Ever since I finished DM Ultra and Dark Aether, I've just been playing the game and having so much fun. And you know how everyone complains about Cold War, and I've made videos in the past about people not liking Cold War and why I like it. It's just so much more enjoyable once you actually complete it, because then you can just hang out, relax, have some fun, play some games with the boys. And not only do you have DM Ultra within Cold War, you also have it in Warzone too. So a lot of the Cold War weapons are a lot of fun to use, except, to be honest, not a lot of camos look good on the Cold War weapons except for DM Ultra and Dark Aether when they introduce that into the game, but we have no ETA on when that happens. So you just get to experience your reward for doing all that challenge grinding and just playing the game. You get to now just play however you want. If you want to play casually, you can play casually. If you want to go play comp, or I guess the ranked game mode, you can do that. There's also tons of calling card challenges to work towards in the seasons as well. So if you're really that much of a completionist, you can go do that, and then you can go 100% in multiplayer or Cold War. It's not like you're left with nothing to do. Honestly, I love playing Cold War casually, especially with DM Ultra and Dark Aether. I like switching back between the two camos. A lot of my gameplay on the videos you guys see is DM Ultra, and that's just because I like showing it off more than just Dark Aether, because I feel like DM Ultra is way harder to get than Dark Aether, and it's a little bit more of a, hey, look at this thing, rather than just, oh, it looks cool. But honestly, I like DM Ultra and the way it looks better over Dark Aether anyway. So also, one thing you can do after you do the DM Ultra camo grind, if you haven't touched zombies yet, you can go grind out the mastery camo there and unlock Dark Aether. And the best part is, you have everything max weapon level anyway from your DM Ultra grind. So when you go into zombies, you just have to do the camo challenges, and then you're done both mastery camos in the game. So it's pretty rewarding, and I definitely still think it's worth it. The experience is fun overall, and after, you get the freedom of the sandbox of Cold War, and you can do whatever you want. And to answer the final question of did I enjoy the grind, I actually had a lot of fun. I liked using different weapons in the game, and the thing with Cold War is a lot of the weapons were viable and easy to use. I would say the only ones that are difficult go back to the melee launcher and special challenges, but even then, if you're a good player, those aren't even that hard. There are some weapons that exceed the statistics of their other counterparts in the categories, but so for example with the FFAR, I mean, it's not a one-shot in hardcore, and a lot of people grind their camos in hardcore, but it's still a good gun overall. It's not like you're going to put yourself at a disadvantage by using every gun in a category. Sure, you might get used to how fast fire rate weapons like the Bullfrog and MP5 are, but the Milano, when you get to that and it's slower fire rate, you're not going to struggle, because even though the fire rates are different and the damage outputs are slightly different statistically, you're still going to have an easy time, and it's going to be a lot of fun because everything's balanced in this game. There's not anything like back in Modern Warfare 2019 that's overpowered. Then if you look at multiplayer in MW 2019, AS Val, that's pretty much the strongest gun in the game, and guns that perform like that. But when you look at Cold War, there's no outstanding guns. Everything's balanced. It's a level playing field, and you can use whatever you want and succeed with whatever you want. Sniper, pistol, you name it. And that's gonna wrap up my conclusion on the retrospective of doing DM Ultra. I answered a lot of questions that you guys had that I've seen in the comment sections quite frequently over the past few months on the DM Ultra videos. Anyway, leave likes, dislikes, depending on if you guys like the video. There's no hard feeling. It gives me feedback on what to do in the future and what to improve upon. Do the comment thingies down below in the comment section. Links in description. Subscribe for more videos in the future. And yeah, with that being said, I'm about to head out, and if there is one, I'll see ya in the next one. Peace.